It's disheartening to realize that someone who has dedicated his life to bringing joy and laughter to others has faced significant struggles in his own life. Dick Van Dyke, nearing the milestone of a century, has navigated through a landscape filled with deep personal losses and challenges. Despite his comedic brilliance, he has encountered heartache that many may not be aware of. The journey has not been easy. He has dealt with the pain of losing loved ones and the weight of health issues that come with age. Even now, as he continues to inspire with his resilience, the shadows of his past linger. His story is not just one of laughter and light. It also reveals moments of sorrow and hardship that shaped him into the person he is today. If you are intrigued by the complexities of his life, stay with us as we delve into the poignant chapters of his journey, shedding light on the struggles behind the smiles. Dick Van Dyke was born on December 13, 1925, in West Plains, Missouri, to Hazel Victoria McCord, a stenographer, and Lauren Wayne Cookie Van Dyke, a salesman. The Van Dyke family had a rich ancestral background with Dutch, English, Irish, and Scottish roots, tracing their lineage back to John Alden, a passenger on the Mayflower. Growing up in Danville, Illinois, Dick had a younger brother, Jerry Van Dyke, who also pursued a career in acting and appeared alongside him in the television show The Dick Van Dyke Show. During his high school years, Dick was an active member of the a cappella choir and the dramatic club, which ignited his passion for performance and led him to consider a career in entertainment. Interestingly, he also thought about becoming a minister. In his senior year, he made a pivotal decision to leave school and join the United States Army Air Forces for pilot training during World War II. Although he faced several rejections for being underweight, he eventually joined the service as a radio announcer. Later, he transferred to the Special Services Unit, where he entertained troops across the country, bringing joy and laughter to many. His military service concluded in 1946, and after his discharge, he continued his education, eventually earning his high school diploma in 24. These early experiences helped shape the man who would become a cherished figure in the entertainment industry. During the late 1940s, Dick Van Dyke began his journey in entertainment as a radio DJ at WDAN in his hometown of Danville, Illinois. It was during this time that he gained valuable experience in radio broadcasting, setting the stage for his future in the entertainment industry. In 1947, Van Dyke's path took an interesting turn when he was persuaded by Panamanian performer Phil Erickson to form a comedy duo named Eric and Van the Merry Mutes. This dynamic duo embarked on a tour of the West Coast nightclub circuit, where they performed a mime act and engaged in lip-syncing to 78 RPM records. Their unique act delighted audiences, and they eventually relocated to Atlanta, Georgia, in the early 1950s. In Atlanta, the duo took their act to the television screen, starring in a local television show they named The Merry Mutes. The program featured original skits and musical performances, showcasing their comedic talents and miming skills. Dick Van Dyke's television career continued to blossom when he joined WSU TV New Orleans Channel 6 NBC. Initially, he worked as a solo comedian, but later assumed the role of MC for a comedy program. His first appearance on a national network television show was on Chance of a Lifetime, hosted by Dennis James, in 1954. During the 1957-1958 season, he also made appearances in 2 episodes of The Phil Silvers Show. Additionally, he graced the screens of the Pat Boone Chevy Showroom on ABC and the Polly Bergen Show on NBC. An important turning point in his television journey occurred when a friend he had known during his time in the Army, who was working as an executive for CBS television, recommended Dick Van Dyke to the network. This recommendation led to a significant breakthrough as he secured a 7-year contract with CBS. During this period, he had a notable role as the anchor on the CBS morning show, with legendary newsman Walter Cronkite serving as his news correspondent. In November 1959, Dick Van Dyke took his talents to the Broadway stage, marking his debut with the production The Girls Against the Boys at the Alvin Theater. This lively revue featured performances by Van Dyke alongside notable talents like Shelley Berman, Bert Lahr, and Nancy Walker. The production was a vibrant showcase of musical acts that captivated the Broadway audience. Running for just 16 performances from November 2nd to November 14, 1959, it highlighted Van Dyke's versatility and charm as a performer. These early stages of his career laid the groundwork for his enduring success across various entertainment mediums, including radio and television. His transition from a local radio DJ to a national television personality and Broadway performer marked the start of a remarkable journey. Van Dyke's ability to engage and entertain audiences would continue to evolve, leading to a lasting legacy in the entertainment industry that would delight fans for years to come. Despite his long-running role as the crime-solving Dr. Mark Sloan in the more serious TV series Diagnosis Murder, Dick Van Dyke is celebrated for his fun-loving and infectiously happy personality. His career is a remarkable tapestry, woven with highlights that showcase his unique ability to blend assuredness with a slightly goofy charm. Known for his remarkable talent in physical comedy, Van Dyke has captivated audiences for decades. His performances often exude a sense of joy that resonates with viewers, making him a beloved figure in the entertainment industry. From his iconic role in Mary Poppins, where he danced and sang with an infectious spirit, to his memorable appearances on television, Van Dyke's work is characterized by a lightheartedness that stands in contrast to the more serious themes of some of his projects. His ability to bring laughter and happiness to audiences, even in roles that may not seem inherently comedic, showcases his versatility as an actor. This blend of humor and warmth has endeared him to fans of all ages, solidifying his status as a cherished icon in the world of entertainment. One might assume that someone as lively and joyful as Dick Van Dyke on screen would be a natural extrovert, effortlessly engaging with others. However, this assumption does not reflect the reality of his personal life. In a revealing 2016 interview with Entertainment Tonight, Van Dyke shared his lifelong struggle with extreme shyness, particularly when it came to interacting with strangers. He confessed that he often found it difficult to initiate conversations, feeling trapped by his own bashfulness. To manage this overwhelming shyness, Van Dyke turned to alcohol, believing that a drink would help him relax and lower the social barriers that his shyness had created. While this strategy initially seemed effective, it ultimately led to complications. His reliance on alcohol as a social aid began to overshadow the very joy he sought in social situations. This struggle highlighted the darker side of his journey, showing that sometimes the solutions we seek can create more problems than they solve. Van Dyke's experience serves as a poignant reminder of the complexities that can lie beneath a cheerful exterior, illustrating the challenges he faced in overcoming his shyness and the unintended consequences of his coping mechanisms. During a 2016 appearance on Oprah, Dick Van Dyke shared a deeply personal story about his struggles with shyness and the unintended consequences of trying to overcome it with alcohol. He revealed that his initial attempts to combat his shyness led him down a challenging path of addiction. Van Dyke described this battle as lengthy and difficult, noting that it took him a significant amount of time to overcome his addiction. It was not until he reached middle age that he was able to quit drinking. During this period, he faced the hard truth that he had been using alcohol as a crutch to cope with his social anxiety. He was surprised to discover the addictive tendencies within his own personality, which he had not recognized earlier in his life. Van Dyke elaborated that his drinking habits had escalated over time. Instead of enjoying just one martini, he found himself consuming 3 or 4. This increase in drinking, combined with the shyness he was trying to suppress, ultimately led to his struggle with addiction. Despite the challenges, Dick Van Dyke managed to turn his life around and overcome his addiction. His decision to speak openly about his struggles with substance use has positively impacted many people. On the Bullseye with Jesse Thorne podcast, he mentioned receiving letters from individuals inspired by his story. Many shared that his openness encouraged them to confront their own drinking problems and seek help. Van Dyke expressed pride in knowing that his confession has provided strength and support to others who felt ashamed to admit their issues with alcohol. In fact, Dick Van Dyke's struggle with alcohol addiction was a long and arduous journey. In a 2013 interview with The Telegraph, as reported by The Fix, he opened up about the toll this addiction took on his mental health. Van Dyke revealed that he had reached a point of deep despair, and his mental well-being had suffered greatly as a result. The addiction had pushed him into a state of severe depression to the extent that he even contemplated self-harm. In his own words, he described the emotional turmoil, saying, "I was in deep trouble. You get suicidal and think you just can't go on. It was just terrible." The revelation of Dick Van Dyke's struggles with addiction and depression serves as a stark reminder that even someone as beloved and successful as him can be affected by common mental health issues like depression. It highlights the fact that anyone, regardless of their public image or achievements, can face these challenges. His story resonates with many, showing that vulnerability is a part of the human experience, and it is crucial to address mental health openly and without stigma. As time went on, There was a significant turning point in Dick Van Dyke's battle with alcohol and depression. He mentioned that he grew weary of alcohol itself, and suddenly, the drink no longer appealed to him. He began to experience unpleasant physical sensations like dizziness and nausea when he consumed alcohol. This marked a crucial shift in his relationship with drinking, as he no longer found any appeal in it. Van Dyke described this change as a blessing, highlighting how it transformed his life. Overcoming his addiction was not a solitary effort. At different points in his life, he sought help from various sources, including rehab and Alcoholics Anonymous. These support systems played a vital role in his journey toward recovery and sobriety. He emphasized that the combination of his personal determination and the support from these resources ultimately allowed him to break free from the grip of alcohol addiction. This journey led him to a more positive and fulfilling life, where he could focus on his career and personal happiness without the burden of addiction weighing him down. During a 2010 interview with Craig Ferguson, Dick Van Dyke shared an astonishing story about a close call he experienced at sea. This remarkable tale began when Van Dyke, after a long day, fell asleep atop his surfboard. When he woke up, he found himself far from the safety of the shore, surrounded by open water. Panic quickly set in as he realized he was out of sight of land. As he started to paddle back, he noticed movement in the water around him. Initially, he feared he was surrounded by sharks, which added to his anxiety. However, to his surprise and relief, the swimmers turned out to be porpoises. These intelligent and playful marine mammals seemed to sense his distress. In an incredible act of instinct, they began to push Van Dyke and his surfboard back toward the shore. This unexpected encounter was not only heartwarming, but also saved him from what could have been a life-threatening situation. While this story may sound almost too fantastic to believe, it is essential to recognize that it comes directly from Van Dyke himself. Therefore, it is wise to approach the account with a degree of skepticism. Although there are documented instances of dolphins, closely related to porpoises, aiding humans in distress at sea, such remarkable interactions, while extraordinary, are not entirely outside the realm of possibility. In August 2013, the beloved actor Dick Van Dyke found himself in a frightening situation that was far from the lighthearted roles he often portrayed. At the age of 87, he was driving his Jaguar sports car along Route 101 in California when disaster struck. Suddenly, the car caught fire, turning what should have been a routine drive into a life-threatening ordeal. Despite the seriousness of the incident, Van Dyke managed to pull over to the side of the road. However, he faced a significant challenge. He was unable to exit the smoking vehicle on his own. Fortunately, Good Samaritans came to his aid and helped rescue him just in time. By the time he was pulled to safety, the car was already engulfed in flames, highlighting how perilous the situation had become. Miraculously, Van Dyke emerged from the burning vehicle without any injuries. True to his comedic nature, he took to Twitter to share a photo of the destroyed car with the humorous caption, "Jag for sale real cheap." This tweet not only showcased his incredible sense of humor, but also reflected his resilience in the face of danger. Even in a potentially life-threatening situation, Dick Van Dyke's ability to maintain his comedic spirit shone through, proving that laughter can be a powerful tool in overcoming adversity. Despite reaching an age when many individuals might choose a more sedentary lifestyle, Dick Van Dyke remained remarkably active and dedicated to his well-being. According to the Chicago Tribune, even at the age of 89, he continued to hit the gym on a daily basis. His commitment to fitness was so strong that he authored a book discussing advanced age fitness, showcasing his passion for maintaining a healthy lifestyle well into his later years. Van Dyke's routine included various exercises designed to keep him strong and agile. He believed that staying active was essential not just for physical health, but also for mental well-being. His enthusiasm for fitness inspired many older adults to consider their own health and activity levels. By sharing his experiences and insights, he encouraged others to embrace a more active lifestyle, proving that age does not have to limit one's ability to live vibrantly. Dick Van Dyke's journey serves as a powerful reminder that dedication to fitness can lead to a fulfilling and energetic life, regardless of age. However, it is important to recognize that Van Dyke faced challenges with unhealthy habits, particularly his smoking. Reports indicate that he was a heavy smoker, consuming up to 3 packs of cigarettes each day. He openly admitted to being addicted to nicotine, describing cigarettes as the worst of all addictions. Breaking free from this habit proved to be a significant struggle for him. Throughout the years, he made numerous attempts to quit smoking, But it was a pivotal moment that finally led him to success. Van Dyke recounted how a doctor showed him an X-ray of his lungs, revealing small empyema scars. The doctor's words struck him deeply, prompting him to stop smoking immediately. This sobering revelation about the damage he had done to his lungs fueled his determination to quit. While he managed to overcome his smoking habit, the consequences of his past addiction remained. Reports suggest that he has had to deal with health issues related to his lungs, including pneumonia, and at one time he even experienced a collapsed lung. Beside the passing of a longtime partner is always a deeply sorrowful event, and for Dick Van Dyke, the loss of his longtime love, Michelle Triola, in 2009 was a significant and heartbreaking moment. The Washington Times reported that Michelle Triola, also known as Michelle Triola Marvin, passed away at the age of 76. While this age could be considered middle-aged given Van Dyke's remarkable longevity, the emotional impact of her loss was profound. Dick Van Dyke and Michelle Triola shared a lengthy and enduring connection, despite her being perhaps better known for her 6-year relationship with actor Lee Marvin. Notably, Triola had never officially married either Lee Marvin or Dick Van Dyke, though she did adopt Marvin's last name during their time together. The absence of a legal marriage became a pivotal point in her life and history. Their relationship with Lee Marvin ended in 1970, leading to a lengthy and highly publicized legal battle when Marvin ceased the financial support that had been previously agreed upon. This legal dispute established the concept of palimony, which refers to financial support payments made in cases where unmarried couples who cohabitated break up. This landmark case shaped legal history and is now recognized as an important legal precedent for similar cases. Michelle Triola's death was particularly challenging for Dick Van Dyke for more reasons than just the emotional loss itself. In the year prior, he had also experienced the passing of his ex-wife due to cancer in 2008. Despite having a sense of the likely outcome of Triola's lung cancer diagnosis, Van Dyke chose to maintain an outward appearance of hope and confidence, especially when she asked about her prognosis. He reflected on this difficult time, saying that when she asked if she was going to die, he pretended he didn't know, calling it the hardest acting he had ever done. For 7 years, Dick Van Dyke faced a challenging and discomforting ordeal due to a mysterious neurological disorder. Reports from Entertainment Tonight and the Huffington Post revealed that the actor experienced an unusual and persistent heartbeat-like sound inside his head. Despite undergoing numerous tests and treatments, he could not find a solution, and the condition only seemed to worsen over time. This constant rhythmic sound significantly affected his overall well-being, leading to extreme fatigue that hindered his ability to function daily. In 2013, Van Dyke decided to share his struggles with the public. He took to Twitter to seek help from his followers, asking for ideas to address his baffling ailment. He expressed his frustration, saying, "My head bangs every time I lay down. I've had every test come back that I'm perfectly healthy. Anybody got any ideas?" This open call for assistance eventually led to a breakthrough. A few weeks after his initial tweet, his account posted a follow-up message that brought relief to both Van Dyke and his concerned fans. The message revealed that the mystery behind his throbbing head had finally been solved. Surprisingly, the root cause of his problem was linked to his famous smile. It turned out that the vibrations from his titanium dental implants were causing the sensation of his head pounding, leading to the discomfort and strange noise he had endured for years. This revelation provided a long-awaited solution to his medical mystery, allowing him to regain a sense of normalcy in his life. During the early 1970s, Dick Van Dyke faced significant personal challenges that ultimately led to the end of his marriage with Margie Willett. Both Van Dyke and Willett were struggling with addiction issues, with Van Dyke battling alcohol addiction and Willett dealing with prescription drug addiction. This shared struggle highlighted deeper problems within their relationship. Van Dyke later reflected on this difficult time, acknowledging that his rising fame and the lifestyle that came with it created a rift between them. He recognized that their addictions were symptoms of larger issues in their marriage, leading them to drift apart. In an attempt to cope with these challenges, Van Dyke became involved in an extramarital affair with Michelle Triola, who worked for his agent and was a former actress. He openly admitted to this affair in his memoir, expressing feelings of guilt and the necessity for honesty. By 1976, he felt it was essential to confront the situation and be truthful about his actions. However, this honesty marked the final chapter in his marriage to Margie Willett. They decided to live apart, and their divorce was finalized in 1984. Following her divorce from Dick Van Dyke, Margie Willett chose to lead a quiet and private life, stepping away from the spotlight that had once been part of her world. Instead of remarrying, she devoted herself to her children and grandchildren, embracing a life centered on family. This commitment to her loved ones highlighted her nurturing nature as a mother and grandmother, keeping her away from public attention. In 2007, Margie faced a devastating diagnosis of pancreatic cancer, a formidable illness that tested her resilience. Despite the challenges, she displayed remarkable strength and courage throughout her battle. Tragically, the disease claimed her life in 2008, leaving a profound impact on Dick Van Dyke, who reflected on their shared past and described her as the best thing that ever happened to him. Margie Willett's memory lives on as that of a loving mother and devoted wife who stood by Dick during his rise to fame and through various setbacks. She played a crucial role in his career, often consulted before he accepted acting roles. Her influence extended to his creative work, inspiring the song Put on a Happy Face from the musical Bye Bye Birdie, which he wrote for her during a difficult time. Furthermore, she was honored in Dick Van Dyke's book, My Lucky Life In and Out of Show Business, which he dedicated to her, showcasing her lasting impact on his life. Margie Willett's legacy is one of love, dedication, and courage, marking her as a vital figure in the life of one of the most beloved entertainers. Her influence continues to be cherished by family and friends, leaving an enduring mark on Dick Van Dyke's work and life. On March 30, 1987, a tragic incident struck the family of Dick Van Dyke when his 13-year-old granddaughter, Jessica Van, fell ill with chickenpox. At the time, she was living in Cleveland, Ohio, with her mother and stepfather. In an effort to ease her discomfort, Jessica began taking aspirin. Unfortunately, her health took a turn for the worse as days went by. Initially, her family thought her vomiting was just another symptom of the chickenpox. But as Jessica's condition deteriorated, she became delirious. 3 days later, her family recognized the seriousness of her situation and rushed her to the hospital. There, medical professionals diagnosed her with Reye's syndrome, a rare and severe condition that can arise after a viral infection like chickenpox. The exact cause of Reye's syndrome remains unclear, but there is a suspected link to aspirin use in children. This syndrome causes fat to accumulate in the body's organs, particularly affecting the brain, leading to increased pressure and potential damage. Tragically, there is no known cure for Reye's syndrome, and treatment focuses mainly on preventing further brain damage. Despite the medical efforts, Jessica's condition continued to decline, and she sadly passed away several days after her diagnosis. This devastating loss deeply affected her family, including her grandfather, Dick Van Dyke. Jessica is remembered fondly by her father, mother, stepfather, and 2 siblings, leaving a profound impact on all who loved her. During his high school years, Dick Van Dyke found himself deeply engaged in the world of performance. His participation in the a cappella choir was a significant turning point, allowing him to explore his vocal talents and develop a love for music. The choir experience not only honed his singing skills, but also helped him gain confidence in front of an audience. Alongside this, his involvement in the school's dramatic club further fueled his passion for acting. Through various plays and performances, he discovered the joy of storytelling and the thrill of bringing characters to life. These formative experiences in the choir and dramatic club played a crucial role in shaping his aspirations. They laid the groundwork for his future career in entertainment, igniting a spark that would lead him to become a beloved actor and performer. The combination of music and drama during these early years was instrumental in guiding him toward a path that would eventually bring him fame and recognition. His high school activities not only nurtured his talents, but also instilled in him a lifelong dedication to the performing arts.